Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back with a second test of Walks with Schla with the new microphone. Hoping that the audio turns out better now. So, last episode kind of got a little bit carried away. Apologize about that. But I just, a lot of these things that were happening, they didn't make any sense and they weren't right. And basically, the second I got back in the building, I just closed out the firmware. And then when I redid it, it just did fine. It just immediately, it took like 2 seconds. So yeah, it must have glitched. And well, truth be told, I actually don't know if the microphone's even working. So that could be a problem. No test recording was done. Might have been a good idea, but at this point, I think it's too little too late, and we're just going to hope. Like I said, we're going to hope that like staticky kind of thing doesn't happen, because it definitely could. And I'm hopeful that it doesn't, but I don't really know what causes it, if it's the lightning port connection doing weird stuff, or if it is the windscreen, which I don't even know how well this windscreen really works, to tell you the truth. It seems to be, not great, because I still felt like I heard wind in the recording. So, not really sure about the effectiveness of it, but we'll keep trying here. I lowered the gain to 0. I don't know if it was already like that or not, but when I looked in the app, it was bolstered quite a bit, and very stupid for my style of recording. So lowering the gain as much as possible is ideal for me, because I'm trying to hold it as close to my mic as possible. So in order to get the cleanest recording, you would definitely want the gain to be super low. I noticed even in the other recording, besides the weird static issue, the other issue was still a little bit hot, still a little bit loud for the mic. But it's sad, it's frustrating. I mean, I'm hoping that the firmware update might hopefully solve something. I don't know if that was like a glitch or something, but seems kind of weird. Seems kind of weird, but again, I hope all this stuff's worth it. It's just, going through a lot to get it working, and then this like crazy windscreen, and then it still sounds pretty windy, it still sounds pretty hot. And that's, coming hot means like the sensitivity was still high, because it was still sounding very loud, and I'd really want it cut into the negative, but it doesn't look like you have that flexibility. So again, I'm just a little bit limited. Fortunately, not too much of a problem. I didn't spend much on this, and I don't really know if there were any other mics that were better for what I wanted to do. And this is a superior choice. I mean, it because it points towards me, much more comfortable to hold the phone, because I can flip the phone upside down and just hold it more normally, and the mic is facing towards me. Whereas the way I was doing it before, it was like a lot more, had to hold the phone more up, much more up, and like up at my mouth, which was much less comfortable. And in addition, it was on the 16 Pro Max, which is a much heavier phone than the 13 mini. Still lamenting that I didn't just get the 16 Pro. That was really a mistake. I think in the future I might just consider the regular size, although I'm most curious about the foldable iPhone, although while it's very cool, I'm not really sure what I would actually do with that. So I don't know. It's not really anything. It's not in the cards at the moment. Like, I mean, it sounds cool, but like I said, I think hopefully I will honor 2026 as being a saving year. That's really the main idea, is to just honor it and hope for the best. Hope that, yeah, 2025 was a big indulgence, and part of that's fairly warranted, you know. First year with a job, and yeah, so part of it's warranted, but still probably shouldn't have went as crazy as I did. But it is what it is at this rate. And yeah, again, I'm just very, very uneasy because of how terrible and staticky the first recording came out as. But the wind's picked up, so that's good. It'll give a good test. I might actually point the mic towards the wind real briefly. Yeah, I just did that just to get kind of a gauge of how it's coming through. Just want to get like a, because again, if my impression from the first thing is that this giant fur ball just didn't work that well, and I think that's kind of crazy, because I mean, maybe it's true that the 16 Pro, the alleged wind rejection is really that good in its quad mic system. I'm also curious to see if the weight is more with the mic and the fur ball. I don't know. I still kind of have a hunch that the 16 Pro Max, I mean, it probably weighs more, but it's tough to say. It's very tough to say. I think the other issue is a low hertz cut, which I wish was possible, but it's not in the settings, which is a shame, because especially for wind noise and potentially car noise, that is a pretty big deal. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, sadly, I don't really think there's any better microphones. And it is true, the 16 Pro's mic is already, I mean, for a built-in microphone, it really sounds stellar. So it's still kind of up in the air how worth it this is going to be, or if I'm going to continue. But like I said, it was a very, very cheap purchase, so it's not hugely crazy. I didn't mention my theory about the static yet. It could have been I didn't have the windscreen all the way down because it blocks the touch screen. So I had it lifted a little bit away from the microphone. And yeah, it might have caused some kind of static, which is why I'm giving it another chance. But if this one also turns out staticky, I'll probably only do like one or two more after this. And if they keep having that staticky issue, I don't know if it's worth it to just try the mic without the windscreen or what. But it is kind of the frustrating thing with going through the extra mic effort. I had the same stress and anxiety about switching over from the video camera mic to the built-in mic on the phone. Is, you know, with the built-in phone mic, there's not going to be a hitch. But when you have an external mic, it greatly increases the chance of a failure, which I'm not very keen on or happy about. So yep, it's just one of those things, you know, one of those things that you just, I guess you just keep going with. I don't know. It's like, Really, really crazy. Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, today it's just been an exhausting day, and really this week just throwing me off, not having my independence with my car. And it's, it's just not a great scenario or situation. And now it's like there's finally kind of like a moment of breathing, but things are probably gonna still be stressful until about December. I think probably just 2026, honestly. I think once 2026 is here, I'm gonna be in a much calmer headspace. It's just finishing out this year. There's some things like I need to do with my car and other stuff that I have to get taken care of, but if I'm able to just make it through without doing anything too crazy, I think things will be better moving forward, but then 2026, it's going to be a fairly uneventful year, and that's something I have to acknowledge. It's going to be very repetitive, and like I said, I really don't want to buy anything and just kind of exist and all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. But again, my largest lamentation is just I just wish I didn't have the 16 Pro Max and I just had the 16 Pro instead. I think that is my ultimate lamentation. I guess the 17 Pro is technically better, but I don't think I would like it as much due to the aluminum construction. Very disappointed in them for doing that. So I'm at least happy they kept it with the Air, but the Air hasn't been a successful product, and I'm incredibly sad about that. It's really sad. People need to be buying those things, and you guys just aren't listening to me, and it shows that people just don't care about the material and they'd rather just have cheap aluminum. So that's life, right? That's what people are after or whatever. It's like really crazy, guys. Come on, people. Return those 17 Pros. Return them. Really support the Air. There's so many people that, like, most people would benefit most from the Air, and they just don't do it. Well, most people probably need to change up their hobbies and whatnot too. So there's that. They're probably playing too many video games which drain precious battery life. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So people need to learn a thing or two about efficiency, really. That's really what needs to happen. Need to learn a thing or two about taking care of stuff as well. That's really what people need to do. Need to learn a thing or two about respect. Now, I'm just talking nonsense right now, but it's honestly a good sign, because it's the first time all day I finally just got to talk. Like, that was not good at lunch. That was just not good. I didn't like that one bit. I need my freedom to talk, and we have to hope that, because I'm wondering too, it could be like a connection issue, because this could get jostled pretty easily. I don't know. I don't really know how easy or uneasy it gets jostled. I just wish it was a lot more aggressively directional, so it had better background noise rejection. But again, from my impression, it didn't. But I'm very curious to see how the 0 decibel recording now. I'm hoping it's quieter, because then it might actually be noticeably better. Because if it is true, it was at like a bolstered decibel amount, that could have been what was throwing it off, because the 16 Pro would, I assume, have a better like adjustment to be able to adjust, and this one probably wouldn't. So it needs to be manually lowered, and if it was just out of the box at that higher state, not as optimized for what I'm doing, which is talking up close to the mouth, then it is what it is. But yeah, I wonder if it being jostled would lodge it out of the port just slightly, and then you can have issues. I've noticed that with my other microphone that I've had. If you just nudge it a little bit, it causes problems. So I had to tie a thing around it to make sure it stays secure in there. That's just what I've had to do. Yeah, I don't really think there's too much else to report, is there? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Anyways, should we be heading back yet? No, not quite yet. That's good. We're still getting some good time in. There wasn't really much settings in the app other than gain adjustment, and I really wish you could do a negative gain, but I think they just didn't intend this to be used like this. I'm not really sure though, because you would think that really it would be used like this, but I don't know. I guess a lot of people don't do what I do, and I don't know why I like it so much. Like, I like holding it because the headset sort of makes more sense. I just think it would need to be wireless in order for me, but then it's still kind of, I guess it's just, this just seems so much more like chill, for especially for walking. Like, I can't imagine that headset for walking. If I had a backpack, I think that would be fine, but then that's like a whole lot. So I don't know, there's just an appeal to me to have this microphone as its own thing. For some reason, there's an appeal, and I'm not really sure why, but that's how I feel about it. So yeah, that's I like it. I like holding it. I like holding it for some reason, and I think I always was interested in this idea, but for the car, it was obvious that you needed like a headset apparatus, you know what I mean? So that was like an obvious thing that was needed, was the headset for the car. But I was always interested in this kind of a microphone, and then when I realized how cheap it was, I just decided to get it, just to test it out. Well, really it was once car rides, walks with Schla started to become more of a thing. Then I became more infatuated with the idea. Yeah, I've been back to walking slower, sadly, and I didn't end up running yesterday. Like I said, I feel like I'm kind of slipping away a little bit, which is not a super good thing. I haven't even used GPT that much recently. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I want to document it in case I start to lose myself, or if I get better. Yeah, I don't know. Hasn't been a good time, but I'm hoping that I can just get through this week maybe, and then moving forward things will be a little bit better. That's just what I'm hopeful for. But I don't know. It's just something seems kind of off about myself recently. It's been really nice, like the talking part of it. This is probably my favorite point in the day. If it wasn't for me starting walks with Schla, actually. But at the same time, maybe it is like too much, because it was good before I had more of a break and a time to process things, which this is. But because it's, wow, I should have been heading back by now. I'm probably going to be a little bit late, but that's okay. So, what was I? Yeah, because it's like it is time for reflection and all that stuff, but I know my thoughts are going to be different. But it's becoming like an obsessive thing, like I said, where, if a conversation isn't recorded, it just feels bad to me. Like, feels like I'm losing a lot of progress on something. I don't know. And I don't like that feeling. It's not a very good feeling. And it feels so good, but then it gets to the point where, like, I can't just live or be free. And that's really the main problem, that I can't just live or be free, That's super big issue. So I guess we keep trying to figure this out and navigate what's going on. But yeah, I'm just trying my best, but I've really been kind of thrown for a bit of a loop recently, and there's just a lot of things going on, and the economy's not doing well, and I've barely even got my foot in the door financially, and that could be, the whole economy might be crushed anyway. I don't even know what the point in working really has been. It's pretty rough. I have to try to just pretend that I just started working or something. I have to try to pretend like, oh, well, I just started, so all the money I have, I already had it. But it's hard to do that because my brain really knows that it's been working, and I already lost a lot of the initial jump start steam, and it's rough. It's just really rough to think about that and everything. Yeah, it's just pretty crazy. But yeah, I want to document that. I really haven't been doing super great, and besides this extra talking, which has been helpful, it's really kept me sane. I think it really came in just in the nick of time, so I would describe it. And then, yeah, hopefully tomorrow things will be better. I'll be used to the mic and everything, and we should be much better and good to go. So anyways, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see ya schla.